Hey everyone, welcome to another Wolfpack Wargaming Warhammer 40k 8th Edition Battle Report. I'm going to be playing the first scenario of the new ITC missions. The first mission is going to be Seize the Ground. So first time playing it and really playing the new ITC missions all together, so lots to learn. Looks pretty interesting. I like how it takes away a lot of the randomness of objectives, and look forward to seeing how it helps balance some of these armies. So here's the board that we're going to be playing on today. And we've got the dice out there indicating which deployment zones. We already rolled for those, and we're going to be playing the Frontline Assault deployment zone, where it's kind of like the triangles on each of the sides there. And the objectives have been placed, but as the ITC rules indicate, this is where they go. So it wasn't randomized or anything. You place the objectives, there's 6 of them out there, and they're on the battlefield where they're supposed to go. So this is 2,000 points of Harlequins, and I believe it's a legal list. We have a patrol as well as a battalion, so only 3 command points. And what we have here is 4 troops with a troop master in each of these. Essentially 5 troops, or 5-player troops, and then 1 troop has 7 players and a troop master. We also, of course, have the solitaire. Then we have 2 units of Skyweavers, 6 in each, and 3 have haywire cannons in each of these units. We also have 3 Starweavers. We're going to have 3 of our troops, or player troops, in those Starweavers there, and then we have 2 Void Weavers for our heavies. And that's about 2,000 points of Harlequins. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's legal. It's pretty hard to make a legal list nowadays with all the books you have to reference, but I did look at the chapter approved for 2018 and adjusted points as such. I should mention that all of the troops do have the Harlequin Kiss, at which those points were adjusted in the chapter approved book.
Running Imperial Fist, 2,000 point. Running an actual brigade detachment with 9 command points. So that's 3 HQ, 6 squads, 6 troops. 3 heavies, 3 elites, and 3 fast attackers. All my troops are pretty standard. I've got 5 squad of tactical, and then I've got 1 scout squad. I've got 2 devastator squads for my elites with a thunderfire cannon. Let's see, excuse me, those are my heavies. My elites are going to be an apothecary, and then a Redemptor dreadnought and a venerable dreadnought. And then last is my fast attacking, which is 3 Inceptor squads.
Yep, and as you can see here, we're having to supplement models. So these are the Interceptors here, and then we've got the Redemptor Dreadnought, and then the Venerable Dreadnought. And yeah, so that's about 2,000 points of Imperial Fists. Alright, so we're rolling for deployment to see who gets to set up first. We're going to have the white die be Imperial Fist, the purple for Harlequins. Alright, looks like it's going to be Harlequins. Alright, so we've got the board all set up here. We've got Space Marines deployed on this side, and then we have our Harlequins all deployed on that side. And then we got the Inceptors and Lysander in reserve. So now we're going to roll to see who goes first. And the Space Marines had 1 fewer unit than the Harlequins, so they'll get a +1 bonus to their roll. Alright, so Space Marines are the white die, Harlequins are the purple, Space Marines get a +1. So Space Marines get a 6, Harlequins get a 4. We get Space Marines first turn, or they can choose to go second. You're going to choose to go first or second? He's going first. Alright, so here we go. Alright, so we're at the end of round 1 here of Imperial Fist, and it was seemingly pretty successful with their shooting. The Dreadnoughts particularly put a hurt on the Harlequins. So over here is is this the Venerable Dreadnought? It was the Venerable over here, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So he so he put some shots on one of the Starweaver transports over here, and between him and the Devastator squads, they were able to reduce the Starweaver down to 0 wounds. So it, of course, rolled a 6 and exploded, and you can see there it put quite a few mortal wounds on those Skyweavers next to it, and then also killed some of the Harlequin troop players inside of it. And then we also had some shooting by the tac squads over here into them. So we're down to 2 of the players, actually 1 player, and then the troop master over there. He was able able to put a few wounds on that transport back there. And overall, it's just a lot of shooting from the Imperial Fist. Now, for ITC scoring, they are holding an objective, so they get 1 point for that, as well as 1 point for killing a unit. And then he chose one of the missions as the old school, so he needed 1 point for first strike, which he did achieve. So we're going to move over to Harlequins turn 1. All right, so we're at the end of round 1 for the Harlequins, and it was a pretty good round for them as well. So they were able to kill the 2 tactical Marine units right there. Essentially everything kind of shot into them, which for the ITC missions, that does give me my 1 point for the round of killing a unit. I'm also holding 4 objectives, one there, one there, one there, and one over there. So I'm actually holding 4 objectives. So I got the 1 point for holding an objective, but this is the end of the round. And so because it's the end of the round, I killed 1 more unit than the Space Marines. They killed 1 on their turn, and I'm holding 4 to their 2 objectives, which means I get an additional point there if you're following along with all that. These Skyweavers, they charged into this tactical Marine squad. You can see there's 2 Marines left, the sergeant and 1 Marine, and they shot into them and then assaulted them and are locked in there, so they're kind of safe for a round, which is kind of nice. But aside from that, it's a pretty good round of shooting, but we'll see. I mean, the Space Marines on their first turn hit the Harlequins pretty hard, particularly with those dreadnoughts shooting into them. So they're proving to continue to be sort of that glass hammer, but we'll see with these new ITC objectives if they can use their speed to their advantage to sneak out some of these mission objectives. So anyways, turn 2 Space Marine. So this is the end of turn 2 for the Imperial Fists, and they did pretty well. They were able to kill 3 different units. They killed a Star Weaver, a Void Weaver, and they killed a unit of troops that were sitting on that objective 4 right there. They also put about 3 wounds on the Solitaire. We're still locked in combat over here, but those 3 squads of Interceptors came down, and one took out, or I guess 2 of those Interceptors took out a Void Weaver, and now one of them's locked in combat with a Troop Master back there. But pretty close game. He got a point for killing a unit and holding an objective. He also has the Line Breaker mission and got that because he has 2 of his units in the backfield there. But now we're going to move to Harlequin's turn 2 and see if we can keep this a close game. Okay, so we're at the end of Harlequin turn 2, and a lot happened, so much so I'll probably forget half of what happened. We had a lot of shooting that went on. We almost killed off the scout unit that was up here in the hills. We got 4 of the 5, and they made their morale check. We charged into that the Redemptor Dreadnought, and that was just a bad idea, but at least locked him down in combat so he can't shoot this next turn. But he still has 5 wounds on him, and I did lose a couple of the Skyweavers in doing so. This unit is still in a constant battle with the troops there. They jumped out and shot in and only killed 1 of the attack Marines and then charged back in, and nothing's happened. We had this unit charge those Interceptors and wiped them out. All of these Harlequins have the kiss of, or Harlequin's kiss on there, which is just brutal. The Solitaire did his blitz jump and jumped over to Lysander and was able to put 5 wounds on him, and he didn't take any wounds in return, so they're still locked in combat. We had these Harlequins charge those 2 Interceptor squads. They wiped out 1 of them, and there's still 1 Interceptor lingering over there. It's a pretty close game, so the Harlequins got a couple objectives. That, of course, they got 1 for killing something. They're holding an objective. For the battle round objectives, they're holding more of the objectives, but the Space Marines killed 3 units last turn. Harlequins only killed 2, so they got the bonus point there. As far as the Harlequins missions, they have Line Breaker. They've got 2 units within 12 inches of the board edge, and they also got the Recon. They have units in all 4 table quarters. So on to Space Marines turn 3. It's kind of looking like one of us is going to get tabled, but we'll see what happens. We're at the end of turn 3 for the Space Marines, and it's starting to get a little bit quicker now that models are engaging and things are getting blown up and killed. So Space Marines were able to kill 3 units. They killed the troops that were over there, but we still have our character and the troop master. Lysander did go down to the Solitaire. It was an epic battle and they took big swings at each other and it got pretty close, but Lysander did eventually go down. We also had the 2 Skyweavers eventually go down to the Devastators shooting at them over here. So anyways, the Space Marines were able to get a point for killing a unit. They're holding an objective as well, but that's about it. So we're going to move on to the Harlequins turn 3. All right, turn 3 for the Harlequins is over. Not too much happened. They're kind of hiding back there. Holding down an objective, and then these guys shot in. They did kill the Dreadnought and charged this unit of troops, which the Skyweavers just can't do enough in close combat without any weapons put on them. So anyways, they just are hanging out. I did have one of my troop masters come over here and charge this unit, which was just silly. I have no idea why I did that. Of course, they ended up killing him in close combat. But I still have a Starweaver holding down that objective back there. So we're pretty close to getting real light on troops here, and as we go into turn 4, I think these turns are going to go pretty quick now. As far as the battle rounds go, he ended up having 4 kills to my 3 kills, and that was partly my error. I shouldn't have given him that 1 HQ in close combat. I could have taken it from him, but oh well. And then no one got the objectives bonus point for battle rounds since we're both on 2 objectives currently. So anyways, we're going to go to Space Marines turn 4. All right, so end of Harlequins turn 4, which is the end of the round for 4, and so not much going on aside from the Harlequins just trying to not get tabled. It's pretty close in points though. So these Starweavers, they jumped out of close combat. They actually shot at there's a 1-man troop. It was a sergeant that was just hanging out. So they were able to get that kill, which ties them for the round for kills, so neither of us get those bonus points. And then back here, they're just kind of hanging out, holding down an objective, and trying to stay out of range of this Thunderfire cannon over here. But it's getting pretty close, down to the wire. We got 2 more turns, and I'm sure they'll go quick. We'll see if the Harlequins can avoid getting tabled. Alright, so end of turn 5 for the Space Marines, and they just kind of slowly moved up to take dominance over the board. They did end up killing all those Starweavers there, which gives them 1 kill, so they're going to get a point for that and a point for holding down an objective. We've just got this few units of Harlequins in the back corner. We'll see if they can survive 1 more turn of Space Marines, but it's not looking too good. I think the Harlequins might just be in the lead with points right now, but we do have 2 more, I guess 1 more round for Space Marines, which might get them to eke out some points over the Harlequins, so we'll see what happens. Alright, so it's looking pretty bleak for the Harlequins. We're just going to see how this plays out though. Harlequins didn't do anything but really move up onto that objective to see if they can hold out 1 more turn. Turn 6 is when it's going to end. And they'll see if they can survive 1 more round and not get tabled, but even then I think the points are gonna go in favor of the Space Marines, but I guess we'll have to wait till the end to see. So anyways, we'll go to last turn for Space Marines and then go to Harlequins, and that will be it. Okay, so we ended turn 6 with the Space Marines. They essentially just fired their Thunderfire cannon at that unit just to see if they could get 1 last unit of Harlequins, which they were close, but didn't quite kill off a unit. But anyways, the Harlequins, I mean, they just took their turn 6, nothing happened, they just stood on that objective. And it was a really close game. Harlequins were winning probably the first half of the game, but as they lost models, the Space Marines they turned it around and started to outpoint them, and so it ended up being 17 to 20. 17 Harlequins, 20 to the Imperial 5th, so it was a really close game. I really liked the new ITC scenarios, thought that was a lot of fun, very dynamic, and the Harlequins being sort of glass hammers, I was impressed with. They're only coming down to about 4 models left on the table, and yet it was still that close of a game, so that was a lot of fun. Any thoughts from you? Any thoughts about the ITC mission?
Oh, I liked it. I liked the fact that it was all set up prematurely. Everything was preset.
Yeah, it was preset, like the objectives were set up. on the table, like they're in a known place. And then I really liked the taking away the randomness of the Maelstrom, that you had way more control over the missions and what the game, like what your objectives were going to be throughout the game. I really like that, and I like the fact that you can see what type of army you're going to play against and then choose those objectives to really suit your own needs, which I think gives you a benefit, particularly when, you know, there are some armies that just have an innate sort of strength or benefit over you. You can pick missions that give you an edge. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So we'll see you at the next one. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, please feel free to hit the like button below. And if you want to check out more Wolfpack Wargaming videos, please hit the subscribe.